What if I told you that 3 children walked into Korea's most powerful tech company and announced to security that they were the CEO's secret offspring? What if I told you the CEO was medically proven to be sterile? And what if I told you that by the end of today, someone would be dead? This is the story of Kang Chi, the man who thought his biggest secret was his infertility, and Sarah Nwosu, the woman who's been hiding something far more dangerous than triplets. Buckle up, because nothing in this story is what it seems. The security footage would later be analysed by police exactly 47 times. 3 children, ages 6, walking through the rotating glass doors of PM Innovations at exactly 3:17 in the afternoon. The timestamp was important, very important, because at 3:42, everything would change. But let's start at 3:17. The tallest child, a boy with eyes that seemed too old for his face, approached the marble reception desk. The receptionist, Kim Min-ji, would later tell investigators that something felt wrong immediately. Not dangerous, just wrong, like watching trained actors pretending to be children. "We need to see Kang Chi," the boy said in perfect Korean. His voice had that careful pronunciation of someone who'd practiced this exact sentence 100 times. Kim Min-ji's training kicked in. Children didn't make appointments with the CEO. Children didn't walk into corporate headquarters alone, and children definitely didn't stand with military straight posture like this boy was doing. "I'm really sorry, but kids can't just," she started. The girl stepped forward. Smaller, quieter, but her eyes were scanning the lobby like she was counting exits. "Please check your system. 3:18. Our names are there." Kim Min-ji almost laughed. This was ridiculous, but something made her check anyway. Maybe it was the way the 3rd child, the smallest one, was watching her with an expression that reminded her uncomfortably of her grandfather, a retired intelligence officer who'd always seen too much. Her blood went cold. 3:18. 3 names: Emeka Nwosu, Ngozi Nwosu, Chukwu Nwosu. Appointment confirmed by Kang Chi's personal assistant, 43 minutes ago. "How?" she whispered. The smallest child, Chukwu, smiled. It wasn't a 6-year-old smile. "You should probably call security now. Our mum's going to be here in about 24 minutes. She's going to be really, really mad." On the 42nd floor, Kang Chi's assistant, Lee Soyeon, was having the strangest day of her 5-year career. She stared at her computer screen, at the appointment she absolutely had not created, wondering if she was losing her mind. Her phone had buzzed an hour ago. A text from her own number. Impossible, but there it was. The message had been simple. Create appointment. 3:18. Names: Emeka, Ngozi, Chukwu Nwosu. Mark as confirmed by you. Do not tell CEO until they arrive. This is not a request. She thought it was a hack, a prank. But then her screen had flickered, and files she'd never seen before appeared on her desktop. Photos of her apartment, her bedroom, her sister's school, and a single line of text. "We're already inside. Cooperate or everyone learns about your brother's gambling debts." Lee Soyeon had created the appointment. Her hands had shaken the entire time. Now, watching her security feed, seeing 3 small children in the lobby who looked exactly like her boss, she understood. Someone had been planning this for a very long time. And somehow, she was already part of it. She picked up her phone to call Kang Chi, and that's when she noticed something that made her skin crawl. In the corner of her computer screen, the camera light was on. Someone was watching her right now. Someone wanted to see her make this call. She took a breath and dialed. Across Seoul, Sarah Nwosu was explaining her translation rates to a potential client when her phone started vibrating. Once, twice. Then it began ringing with the specific ringtone she'd set for emergencies only. "I'm so sorry," she said, already knowing something was terribly wrong. "It's my kids' school." The teacher's voice was panicked. "Miss Nwosu, your children aren't here. They left hours ago. There was a note saying you'd picked them up early, but we just realized it was forged." We've been calling and calling. The world tilted. Sarah's coffee cup slipped from her fingers, shattering across the floor. She was already moving, already running, her clients' confused questions fading behind her. Her phone buzzed again, a text from an unknown number, just 2 words and an address. They're safe. PM Innovations. Sarah's heart stopped. PM Innovations, Kang Chi's company. After 7 years of hiding, after 7 years of running, after 7 years of keeping her children invisible, they'd found him. Or worse, he'd found them. Or worst of all, someone else had found them both. In his corner office, Kang Chi was in a video conference with Singapore investors when Lee Soyeon burst through his door. She never interrupted. Never. In 5 years, she'd been the model of professional discretion. "Sir," she said, her voice shaking, "you need to come downstairs immediately. I'm in the middle of—" He started, then saw her face, saw the fear, the guilt, something else he couldn't identify. "What happened?" "3 children just arrived. They say they're yours. They have documentation. They have an appointment that," she swallowed hard, "that I apparently created. And sir, they look exactly like you." Kang Chi stood slowly. This was impossible. He was sterile. Multiple doctors had confirmed it over the years. Unless this was corporate espionage, a new kind of blackmail, competitors getting creative before the quarterly earnings report. "Pull all security footage from the last 2 hours," he said, his voice perfectly calm. "Call legal. And Lee," he paused, meeting her eyes. "Who put that appointment in my system?" "I did, sir." She looked like she might cry. "But I don't remember doing it. I think someone hacked my computer, or my phone, or," she stopped, "or me." The elevator ride down felt like descending into a nightmare. Kang Chi's mind raced. If this was blackmail, it was sophisticated. If it was a con, it was elaborate. If it was real, it was impossible. The elevator doors opened. The lobby had gone completely silent. Employees lined the walls, phones raised, recording. This would be viral within minutes. His PR nightmare was already beginning. But Kang Chi barely noticed. Because standing by the reception desk were 3 children who looked like someone had taken his childhood photos and brought them to life. Same sharp jawline, same dark eyes, same slight tilt of the head when confused. These weren't just children who resembled him. These were children who carried his genetics like a signature. "Who sent you?" he asked quietly. The boy, Amika, pulled out a folder. His movements were too precise, too practiced. "Nobody sent us. We came ourselves. Because we had to meet you before?" He glanced at his siblings. "Before it's too late." "Before what's too late?" The girl, Ngozi, held out the folder. Her hands were steady, but Kang Chi noticed the slight tremor in her left pinky. A stress tell. Someone had taught her to control fear but hadn't quite perfected it yet. Before the people watching us decide to take us. Kang Chi took the folder. DNA test results. Legitimate laboratory. His name. 3 other names. 99.9% probability of paternity. For all 3. "This is impossible," he said. "I can't have children. Medical tests confirmed. Maybe somebody lied. The smallest child, Chukwu, said quietly." His voice was different from his siblings. Softer. More genuinely childlike. "Maybe somebody wanted you to think you couldn't have kids. Maybe somebody needed you to believe that." The words hit like a physical blow. Kang Chi felt his carefully constructed reality cracking. Who would lie about something like that? Who would benefit from him believing he was sterile for years? "How did you get my DNA?" he asked. "You left a comb 7 years ago," Emeka said. "At our apartment. Mum kept it in a drawer. We found it. We ran the test. You're 6 years old. You don't run DNA tests." "We learned," Ngozi said simply. "Someone taught us." The lobby seemed to hold its breath. Kang Chi stared at these children. "Who taught you?" "The person who's been preparing us," Chukwu whispered. "The person who knew this day would come." Before Kang Chi could respond, before he could demand answers, The lobby doors exploded open. A woman burst through, her eyes wild with terror and fury. She was beautiful even in her panic, dark skin glowing with perspiration, braids coming loose from running. She saw the children and something between a sob and a scream tore from her throat. Emeka, Ngozi, Chukwu. The triplets ran to her, their careful masks shattered instantly, and suddenly they were just 6-year-olds clinging to their mother, crying, apologizing, being children instead of whatever they'd been pretending to be. She dropped to her knees, checking them for injuries, whispering in a mixture of English and Igbo. I thought something happened. I thought they took you. Then she looked up. Her eyes found Kang-chi across the lobby. Recognition hit her like lightning. Her face went through shock, disbelief, recognition, fear, and then something that looked like defeat. You, she breathed. Sarah. Kang-chi said her name like he was testing whether she was real. She stood slowly, keeping her children behind her protectively. 7 years. You disappeared for 7 years. And now you meet them like this, in your corporate lobby, with everyone recording. We need to talk, Kang-chi said, somewhere private. Now. We needed to talk 7 years ago, Sarah shot back. Her voice shook with rage and terror. We needed to talk when I found out I was pregnant, when I was alone with 3 newborns and no money, but you weren't there. So no, we don't need to, Mom, Emeka interrupted. His voice was urgent. Mom, he knows, we told him. About the people watching us. Sarah's face drained of colour. You told him what? About the man who followed us from school, Ngozi said quietly. About the lady at the Kang with the camera. About the apartment break-in. About someone teaching us things, Chukwu finished. About being ready. Sarah looked at Kang-chi. Her expression was complex, layered with years of secrets and survival. When she spoke, her voice was barely audible. We need to talk. But not here. Not with cameras. My office, Kang-chi said. Now. Before anyone could move, Lee Soyeon's voice came over Kang-chi's phone, high and panicked. Sir, you need to see this. Security footage from 3 months ago. She stopped. Sir, there's someone who's been in the building. Multiple times. Always watching the lobby. Always on days when you have public appearances. I think they were waiting for something. I think they were waiting for today. Show me, Kang-chi said. I'm sending it to your phone now. But sir, she hesitated. Sir, it's someone you know. Someone who works here. The blood in Kang-chi's veins turned to ice. Who? Before Lee Soyeon could answer, every light in PM Innovations went dark. Complete darkness. No emergency lighting. No exit signs. Just absolute black. Through the windows, Kang-chi could see the entire block had lost power. Backup generators? He shouted into the darkness. Not responding, security called back. Sir, someone cut them manually. Someone's in the building. In the darkness, Kang-chi heard Sarah's sharp intake of breath. Then she whispered 3 words that made his blood run cold. They're here. Now. A child screamed. Not one of the triplets. Someone else's child. A visitor's daughter who'd been waiting in the lobby. The scream cut off suddenly. Too suddenly. Emergency lighting flickered on 30 seconds later, painting everything in sickly red. The lobby had transformed. People pressed against walls, security guards with weapons drawn. And, standing by the entrance, where they definitely hadn't been before, were 3 figures in tactical gear. They weren't moving. Just standing. Watching, looking directly at Sarah and the children with the kind of focused intensity that professional soldiers have. One lifted a phone, spoke 2 words that carried across the silent lobby. Target confirmed. Sarah grabbed her children, pulling them behind her. Kang-chi stepped in front of them instinctively, positioning his body between them and the threat. The figures didn't move, didn't advance, just watched. Then the lights died again. When they came back on 10 seconds later, the figures were gone, vanished. But something else was missing. The visitor's child, the little girl who'd screamed. Her mother was screaming now, running through the lobby, calling her daughter's name. Security was shouting into radios, checking cameras, sealing exits. But Kang-chi knew. He looked at Sarah. She looked back. They both understood. That child was taken in seconds, taken to prove a point, to show capability, to demonstrate what would happen to the triplets if Kang-chi didn't cooperate. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Against every instinct he answered. A voice spoke, digitally distorted, impossible to identify. But something about it felt familiar, like he should know it. 7 years, Mr. Kang. We've waited 7 years for this moment, for you to finally meet your children, for all the pieces to be in place. You have 48 hours to make a choice. Give us the AI algorithms, full access to your systems, every piece of technology you've built. Or we start taking more children, starting with yours. We'll be in touch with instructions. The line went dead. Kang-chi looked at Sarah. She was pale, shaking, holding her children like they might disappear. He looked at the empty space where a child had been, at the chaos erupting around them, at the triplets who were too well trained, too prepared, like someone had been teaching them for years. Who taught them? He asked Sarah quietly. Who's been preparing them? Sarah's eyes filled with tears. I don't know. I thought I was teaching them to be careful, to be smart, to protect themselves. But then I started noticing things. They knew things I didn't teach them, could do things I never showed them. And when I asked where they learned it, they said, she stopped, her voice breaking. They said the lady was helping them. What lady? I never saw her. They said she came when I was at work, that she was nice, that she was keeping them safe. I thought they had an imaginary friend. I thought, Sarah covered her mouth, oh God, someone's been in my home, teaching my children. For how long? Emeka spoke up, his voice small and frightened and finally genuinely childlike. Since we were 4, Mama. She said she was protecting us from bad people. She said one day we'd need to find our dad. She said she was getting us ready. Ready for what? Kang-chi demanded. For this, Ngozi whispered, looking around the chaos. For today. She knew this would happen. She told us exactly what to do. Kang-chi felt like he was drowning. Someone had been planning this for years, had been in Sarah's home, training his children, preparing them for this exact moment. Someone who knew about the children before today. Someone who'd been orchestrating this entire scenario. His phone buzzed again. A text this time. Just a photo. Kang-chi opened it and felt the world tilt. It was a picture of him from 7 years ago, at a hospital, leaving a fertility specialist's office. And written across the bottom, your test results were changed. You were never sterile. She was always meant to get pregnant. Everything was planned. Even you. Sarah was staring at her own phone, her face ashen. She turned it toward Kang-chi. Another photo. Her, 7 years ago, meeting with someone in a dark suit, taking an envelope. And the caption, you were never a spy. You were a delivery system. For his children. For our investment. Kang-chi's mind was racing. Someone had manipulated his medical results, had sent Sarah to him, had ensured she got pregnant, had watched the children for years, had trained them, had orchestrated this entire day. A 7-year plan coming to fruition right now. But why? What was worth 7 years of planning? Lee Soyeon's voice came through his phone again, shaking. Sir, I found the person in the security footage. The one who's been watching the lobby. Sir, it's... An explosion rocked the building. Not close, but near enough to feel. Upper floors. Kang-chi's office level. Smoke began filtering down through the ventilation system. Alarms started blaring. Sprinklers activated. In the chaos of people running, screaming, evacuating, Kang-chi grabbed Sarah and the children. Stay with me. Don't let them out of your sight. They moved toward the emergency exit. Around them, security was trying to maintain order. Outside, sirens approached. The kidnapped child's mother was being restrained, screaming for her daughter. Kang Chi's phone buzzed one more time. He looked at the screen. A final message. This one made his heart stop. It was a live video feed. His office, or what was left of it, burning. And in the corner of the frame, barely visible through the smoke, was Lee Soyeon. She wasn't running. She was standing perfectly still, looking directly at the camera. And she was smiling. The video cut. The message appeared. Your assistant says hello. She's been with us from the beginning. 48 hours, Mr. Kang. The clock starts now. Next time, we won't take a stranger's child. Next time, we'll take yours. Kang Chi looked at Sarah, at the triplets pressed against their mother's side, at the smoke filling his building, at the reality crashing down around them. 48 hours to choose between his life's work and his children's lives. 48 hours to figure out who'd been planning this for 7 years. 48 hours to understand why someone had manufactured his children like weapons. And somewhere in Seoul, in a control room with monitors showing every angle of the chaos, Lee Soyeon stood beside 2 other figures, watching it all unfold. One of them turned to her. Phase 1 complete, she smiled wider. Oh, we're just getting started. He still doesn't know the best part. What's that? That the children aren't just his. She gestured to the screens showing the triplets, those genetic markers in their DNA, the enhanced intelligence, the rapid learning capabilities. Those didn't come from him. Those came from what we put in them before they were born. They're not just his children, they're ours too. The figure laughed. Does he suspect? Not yet, but he will. When the children's abilities start manifesting in the next 48 hours, when he realizes what they really are, when he understands that we didn't just create this situation. Lee Soyeon's smile turned cold. We created them. That's when the real fun begins. Who do you think is orchestrating this nightmare? Why were the children genetically enhanced before birth? What's Lee Soyeon's real endgame? What happened to the kidnapped child? And what abilities are about to manifest in the triplets that even Kang Chi doesn't know about? Drop your wildest theories in the comments because trust me, the truth is darker than anything you're imagining. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button because episode 2 drops in 3 days and the reveals are going to destroy you. Hit the like button right now if you want to see what happens next. Turn on notifications because you absolutely cannot miss what's coming. I'm telling you, everything you think you know is wrong. See you in episode 2 where the real nightmare begins.